Hey, welcome to Perceptual Supplements. This goes both ways. If you've never read Marshall McLuhan, this will supplement lots of what you already know. If you've read McLuhan, this will supplement him. That's the idea. Making him easier, because apparently lots of people have a hard time reading his stuff. So, my supplements will help along with that, I hope. This one is episode 1 Environment and Spaces. So, on environment, is everything that surrounds our body, like our physical, actual body. And spaces are what our senses put together out of our sensory data into a space. They form our perception. And our environment and our spaces work together in an act of creation, reciprocal creation, whereas through artifice, through creation, we make and reshape our environment in the form of our spaces, and our perception, our cognition and perception and constant relation to our environment form our sense of space and spaces. And for McLuhan, different senses had different spatial properties. Nowadays, we often conceptualize our sense of space in n-dimensional, let's call it n-dimensional configuration, parameter spaces, because in the modern day, we go around and we measure everything, and we put them all into a computer and we build mathematical models. And then as we study those models, we sort of learn and internalize them as our way of perceiving reality. So the way we look at strangers on the street might accord to the basic categories on the census, for instance, or the way that demographers subdivide society into different parameters to help their marketing or propagandistic appeals. Now, a couple hundred years ago, the West, as it were, entered into Newtonian Cartesian space with physics. And so our material bodies existed in relation to the world of 3D painting, perspective painting, three-dimensional perspective painting. If you like 3D modeling today, you got your X, Y, Z axes. You can think of space as those three parameters, right? X, Y, and Z, all right? Forward, backward, left and right, up and down. This is 3D. This came in about 500 years ago into our spatial perception of our environments, and architecture and physics and all of our sciences grew up within this space. But 100 years ago, 150, between 150 and 100 years ago, this all collapsed and exploded into what in art is seen as, cubism, let's say, or modern painting, with Einstein and Minkowski blowing apart Newtonian physics, and with the telegraph destroying the sense that messages which are sent are written on physical objects that travel through, say, the mail, or get tied to the leg of a pigeon, or a piece of paper tied to a brick that you throw at someone, right? A message was tied to physical matter moving through physical space up until the telegraph destroyed our spatial perception of our environment, and our environment started creating spaces through our embodied relation to it through means which transcended and destroyed and messed up our whole perception of time and space. Hope that makes that, well, on the one hand, I hope that clears up some issues for people who read McLuhan. And on the other hand, I hope people who don't read McLuhan have just been thrown into a confusing quagmire of words that barely made any sense, which reading McLuhan will help you sort out. Join us next time on our next episode involving... where are we going to go? Let's go with... let's tie what we just talked about to more familiar terms, postmodernism and social construction. See you then in the next video.